Welcome to Big 'em Up Dollar Bin Beats, where we go and review some of the best records that can be found on the cheap, mostly focusing on drum and bass and electronic music. So let's get started. We've starting out with Tango and Ratty on Method Records, released in 1999. We've got the A side is Train Track, and the B side is Tripped Up. Tango and Ratty are two of the oldest of the old school heads. They were making hardcore tunes before drum and bass even existed as a known thing as drum and bass, even before jungle was known as jungle. So many classic tunes from these two guys. Unfortunately, they've been kind of left out of the legendary status that I think they deserve. I absolutely love almost all their production, and typically Tango and Ratty are buy on site, even their later work. These two tunes fit right into that 99 sound. They sound like Ed Rush and Optical, Wormhole, or Stack and Skynet with Clockwork style tech step tunes. And the thing that I love about this particular record is it's got that funk. So many technical tunes become a way for producers to show off how much time they can spend making sounds so intricate and deep. And while that definitely has its place, what I always want is something that I want to dance to. These are like the tunes that remind me of sci-fi movies and just darkness. Train Track is just a great track. The B-side is a great track. I highly recommend this. Pick it up. It's super cheap. It's well worth a couple dollars. Next, we got Nat Clarion versus Shelly D. And these tunes, the reason I picked this up is because it's on L plates. I'm kind of trying to collect all the L plates records. They aren't like super sought after, so you can get them pretty cheap. There's two tracks. To be honest, I'm not super familiar with Nat Clarkson. He has only a couple releases, and I think almost all of them were on L plates. But the great thing about L plates records is they're pretty solid the entire catalog. This one's a little bit more generic than most of the other ones, so I definitely think it's worth a couple bucks. But it may not be like the first one that you're running out and grabbing. The A side it's got some nice R&B vocals, good but just generic. The B side, kind of farty bass, with some dub sounds. The A side's the one for me. Definitely worth like $1.99. Next up, we have Manifest on Hard Leaders. So Hard Leaders is a label that's just known for its tear out. Big amens, huge bass lines. This style definitely got kind of overdone for a while, and that's kind of why Hard Leaders kind of fell off. But you can find many great tunes on Hard Leaders that are just heavy amens, heavy 808s. Stuff that people rock out to. This included both Spectrum Lights and Sinister are amen heavy tunes. They sound like other amen heavy tunes, but if you want to pull one out that no one's heard and you only want to spend $1.99, like, pick this up. Hard Leaders is one of those labels, like, pretty consistent, pretty good, not highly sought after, so because they signed a lot of people that were a little bit less known. I recommend it. Pick it up. Next, we got another Hard Leaders tune. We've got DJ Surreal and Parameter. So the A side of this, Beyond the Point, it's another kind of tear out tune. I personally find it a little boring. But the B side, it's like heavy. It's got lots of hoovers. Definitely worth picking up. But it's fairly uncommentable. Like, I think it's worth the budget price. But it's not going to blow you away. Next, we've got Perfect Combination. So I've got a soft spot in my heart for perfect Combination. I grew up in a small area of Washington and just north of the border, and Perfect Combination was one of the few people that would travel to such a small town. He would play to these teeny tiny crowds and was a super nice guy. Super into his weed, which Washington is known for. I think that's part of the reason he'd come over. Super nice guy. So I'll probably pretty much pick up anything I see Perfect Combination because I have that personal connection. This one was on Freeform Records. Both the A and the B, pretty generic tech step tunes of like the early 2000s. There's nothing special about them. Both tracks are like decent, but they don't call out to me. Like, if I was digging through my records wanting to create a mix, I probably would never pull this one. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't deserve to be on wax, because this guy can produce, and he can produce better than most people. But, you know, everyone releases some just kind of generic tunes. If you can find this one for like $1, pick it up. If it's more than $1, I might pass. Last, we have another record by Tango. On Audio Records. I was kind of bummed to see the little A part ripped out of this, but very cool die cut. I wish more labels did that stuff these days. Mainline and Sent to Coventry, amazing tunes. Just a little bit on the softer side, but it's got intricate break work on both of them. You've got intricate bass work that goes from like drawn out Reese's into like 808s. This is what I'm talking about with Tango. Like, he knows what he's doing, and he's a great producer, and he's overlooked. And this was super cheap, and I would play this tune out either of these tunes out any day of the week. I highly recommend you try to check out Tango because you can get him on the budget. He is an old school head who makes amazing tunes. Quit for a while. I was sad to learn by researching some of these records that he recently passed away. That being said, he's a legend of drum and bass. You need to go out and get him. If you love jungle music, Tango and Ratty released such great jungle music on like labels like Formation. Early jump up, great stuff. Seek it out. And that's it for tonight. If you dig what I'm doing, make sure to check out my other videos and subscribe and comment. Love to talk to you guys. Thanks. Bye.